Yeah, I'm good.
Come on, you guys heard him. Hey, sure. The wages and blessing never living a lie. So we keep our meditation in the eye, in the eye. We weather the storm and put up a fight. Cause we can do anything. Should you feel like giving up, let the strength of your ancestors fill your cup. The power of Jah preserves I and guides in all that good. So evil that may be harm, can go back where they came from. No demonic words perform shall prosper, yeah. Until the Yoga and the science man come, cause them can't squeeze me lion bar. No demonic words perform shall prosper.
Tonight, we are going to speak as it relates to the situation that unfold with the JPS, and we are going to get into the intricacies of that. Right? We have seen some what we call political strategy being played out, right? And where we have likes like Beryl who try to put a spin on the situation. Now, the fact of the matter, people, is that many Jamaicans, right, who are feeling the pressure as it relates to the high energy cost of JPS and what is outrightly what we call padding of bills, right? Because it is what it is. That JPS padding the bills on our customers. And we are going to prove that tonight based on research and investigation, right? This is a serious situation that hinders us from economic growth. And we are going to discuss that in the length and breadth, right? To have a holistic understanding that we need to move from fossil to renewable energy, right? Because what is happening with the JPS and the monopoly that JPS has, right? It is now suppressing our people. Many of our people are suffering as it relates to the high energy costs. And we have to make sure that we hold the government accountable. Remember last week I spoke about donations, right? Political donations as it relates to what entity are funding the campaign, the political campaign. And I researched a particular document and I want to ask the question as it relates to how much JPS fund, right, whatever political party. And we are seeing as a result of not having transparency of persons who are funding the political party and where policies, right, are being made in terms of their benefit, right? And so then we have to highlight that as it relates to who are funding, right, the campaigns and how much, right, that they are funding and what are the benefits that they are anticipating. Because we are seeing that most of the policies that being utilized, not being utilized to benefit the masses, but to benefit the elites, right? And the few people in the bubbles, right? We call capitalism, right? Cronyism, right? That being making the benefit and the masses who voting for the specific party, whether GLP or PNP, they're not being benefited, right? And so we have a very serious issue with that. And that's one of the reasons why we're going to get into the length and breadth of the JPS saga. Let me just give the direction in terms of where we want to go tonight. We are speaking about renewable energy, right? And we want to make sure that, of course, that we need a diversification as it relates to renewable energy. And for Jamaicans by birth, right, becomes owners, right, in terms of that, right? We are not supposed to go down the road where we are trying to make JPS, right, as it relates to 80% of what the individuals, the external interest owns, right? The money is not being utilized in Jamaica. So I want people to understand that majority of the money that being generated by JPS is not being utilized or circulating in the economy to benefit Jamaican people. So we are going to deal with that tonight, right? And we are defending that we need to transform from fossil to renewable energy, and we are going to make that transformation, right? We want that to be on the ballot. Now, people, I also need to give you some information as it relates to general election, right? From the grapevine. The general election is going to be in December. I am not going to give the particular date, but coming from the grapevine. So let me say this, for people who need to be right ready and prepared for general election, please do the necessaries so that we can ready to make an informed decision and vote PNP. Right? I am not going to act as if, right? I am not saying that. We are manly eyes, right? And so then we are telling the voters to vote PNP. No doubt about that. Without any delay, we want to get into the situation where JPS is concerned. Because as we speak, right, where JPS, prior to Beryl, right, that they gave information that they are ready, right, they are well geared, right, to deal with the Beryl aftermath. And as we speak today, right, not all persons, right, getting back their energy. A lot of people, right, are facing the suffering. Time come, as what editing with the sibling has been said. Without any delay, let us get into the information, because we're going to use tonight to send a message to JPS. And for Daryl Vast to be coming out with his trickery, acting as if he is defending the people's interests and, you know, throwing JPS under the bus, right? Now, Daryl Vast, let me say this to you. That political trickery is not working, right? The reason why you are doing that is to the fact that the people realize and catch JPS red-handed, right, padding their bills. That is a serious issue, right? That is a serious issue. So we are going to deal with that, right, and explain it to the people. Let us, without any delay, let us get into 300. Okay. So the information that I want to, before we play that on it, I want to explain this to the people before I introduce the clip. Mm-hmm. So let me say this to the people. What I am going to play, right? We are going to highlight, right, how the parties being funded, right? How the parties being funded and who are funding these parties so that they can get, right, policies passed in their behalf. So we are going to show you that even the Integrity Commission, right, have a problem with this situation as it relates to persons who are funding the political campaign. So let us get into it. Lift up this document. Let me get into this document and highlight some of the problem here, and then get into JPS. People wonder why Byron is getting into the donation. We want to know how much JPS donated to the political party. So let us get through the scrubbers. We are not going to. Since I've been through this document prior to bring it on, I just want to get to the important points, right? To show you where I'm going with this document here, right? So let me just, I want to get to the major concern of this document. Okay. Let us begin from here, right? The Jamaican Manufacturers and Exporters Association and the National Integrity Action, as I was saying, the National Integrity Action are insisting that the government should urgently consider further changes to the law to bring greater transparency to the financing of Jamaica's elections. Now, this is what we are talking about. According to the JMA President, John Mahfood, there should be no privacy because the government makes rules for the people, and anything that can interfere with how they make those rules, including donations and so on, should be public. Remember, we talk about, we see some donations get into Nigel Clark charity during the campaign, the election period, right? Governments are influenced greatly by a number of factors, including donations from companies that do business with the government, that are interested in doing business with the government. Added Mahfood, the CEO of Jamaica Teas Limited, who said his company does not make political donations. He also dismissed the political party's view that disclosure of contributors could turn off potential donors, saying financiers would only fear disclosure if they are doing it for reasons that are not bona fide. We need to know the donors who are donating money to the political campaign because we want to be transparent. Let us get to the next paragraph. Mahfood stated, all companies in Jamaica make public donation, all of the big public companies, and they make millions of dollars of donations. It should be public, and their board of directors should make it public. And the fact that they don't, I think, is an indictment on Jamaican private sector. And that is clear. I think that in terms of transparency, we want to know who are funding, right, the political parties and who are looking favor. And so then when we see certain policies are passing in the parliament, we know that those policies are passing in the benefit of those donors because they donated to the campaign. We call that political kickback. Okay, let us move on. Pointing to the almost 2 decades process to get the campaign finance law, Professor Trevor Monroe, the principal director of the anti-corruption lobby, NIA, said, the wait should not be as long to plug loopholes. Monroe said the ECJ needs to publish the final disclosure report of the political parties, including which recipients of public contracts above 500,000 exercise their rights to contribute to registered political parties, and which individuals are entities contributed above $1 million. Credible allegations concerning the diversion of public funds to political cronies by way of directorship and public bodies, breach of procurement regulations, and questionable grants of permit make more urgent issues relating to campaign finance kickback. And that's what we have said. Remember people that we play Nigel Clark situation, charity, and we have seen where X amount of money going into Nigel Clark charity when it comes to the eve of a election. And as this is saying that we don't want that these persons who are funding the political parties, they are the ones who are getting the contracts. And as a result of them funding the political parties, they are getting all of the contracts. That is political kickback. We don't want that. We want transparency. Now, the current law says during campaign periods, parties and candidates are restricted from knowingly accepting funds from, among others, foreign government, public bodies, illegal entities, anonymous contributions, and intermediaries. Monroe said the ban on impermissible donors, persons who are not permitted to donate. Let us go into it. Monroe said the ban on impermissible donors needs to extend all year, every year, to create transparency. Because you can't have jobs barren donating to political parties, right? And where they are going to breach procurement rules, breach building codes, and breach all of that. We don't want that because you have job done. You understand? Put funding to political parties. We don't want that. We want transparency and good governance, we say. The public must know who pays the piper. Of course, the public must know who pays the piper. And not just during the reporting period or the campaign period, he said, noting that the law should also oblige the ECJ to receive quarterly and publish annual reports and contributions above a certain sum received by parties and candidates, as well as sources of such contributions. Let us take that away and let us talk to the people for better understanding in terms of the document that we are discussing. What we are saying, my viewers, right, and listeners, we are saying in terms to avoid corruption, persons who are donating to political parties, right, they need to be published as it relates to how much money that they are donating to political parties. Because we want to know that if they are, donating X, are they looking for favors? Are they looking for the government to pass policies to benefit them? And we have seen a lot of that being done. Persons who have funded political parties are also getting government contracts. We need to stop that, right? We need to have transparency, right? And have a cap in terms of the amount that can be funded to any one political candidate. Or, you understand, because there is a cap in terms of how much can be funded to one political candidate, which is $1 million, right? And up to $35 million, you understand, can fund it to the political party, right? So when we have the reason why am I touching this? Let me explain why am I touching this. Because we are getting into JPS and the bangarang that is going on with JPS manipulating our people for years. And so then we are going to get into the belly tonight to have a full understanding, people, why it is important to get into JPS. Let me speak this, right? JPS, as it relates to the high cost of energy bill, is stopping Jamaica progress, economic progress, right? For Jamaica to gain upward mobility, JPS is stopping that. JPS is blocking that, right? Because the high energy cost is preventing us, right, to manufacturing products, you understand, so that we don't have the high overheads to pay as it relates to energy costs. So we need to understand the intricacies of what we are doing tonight and understand where Mark Golding stand with this policy. Right? We know that Andrew Holness is a trickster. Tonight we are going to prove it. Right? Andrew Holness is not trying to win us off the grid. Andrew Holness is trying to make us stay onto the grid to appease who? To appease external forces. Right? The amount of money that JPS is making. So I want to make people understand where I'm going with this tonight. The amount of money that JPS is making, that money is not circulating in the Jamaican economic space. And so then we are not benefiting, we are being suppressing. Just imagine, people. Just imagine that post Hurricane Beryl, JPS, in spite of the trauma that the Jamaican people are going through, particularly area in St. Elizabeth, right, who have gotten maximum damage. People are not able to freeze, right, their products, their meats. Their meat have been spoiled, affecting so many small businesses, right? In spite of that, JPS came out, right, and padding the bills and the Jamaican people under the Andrew Holness government. So when we see Beryl Vaz come out, Beryl Vaz, you know better come out. You know better come out and go on like you and defend the people, you know. You are coming out because the Jamaican people caught JPS red-handed, padding the bill. Lawland said the more money JPS makes, it tax revenue for the government. Thank you, Lawland. That's why we have these educated people over here on this channel. You understand, when Lawland can, you understand, deduce what is happening. Right? And what Lawland said, Lawland is 100% right. So the government have no interest when they hear Beryl Vaz coming out, but tonight we are going to burst his bubbles. The reason why Beryl Vaz is coming out, Beryl Vaz, is because what? Election is in December, and you want to make it right with the people. You know, the Andrew Holness can't come out, so you are come out. Because the people know that Andrew Holness promised that we will get, you understand, reduction in our energy bill. And the people realized that that did not happen. Andrew promise did not come true. So because Andrew cannot come true, you know, Mr. Vaz, they try to come true. Well, we have news for you tonight, because I have done the research. We have come at you tonight to tell Jamaican people to take away themselves from you. Don't bother believe, said Beryl Vaz, have the interest of the people. Beryl Vaz, if you never have the interest for 8 years, please don't have it now, because there is no way you're going to have it now. Andrew Holness promised the Jamaican people cheaper energy rate, and that did not happen. The JPS is crippling our people, cutting our bills, and I am telling Jamaica, JPS, it is long time, more than 13 years that you are padding the Jamaican citizen bill, and we have the evidence tonight to prove that you are padding the Jamaican bills. So we are going tonight. People, let me tell you something. I had done the solid research. Now, since I talk about the donations, where am I going next? Is to get into JPS. Who are the owners for JPS? And what are the plans that they have? So we are going to get into the next document to find out who are the owners for JPS. Yes, man, Mystic Sensation have done the research. And what are their plans? Let me tell you something, people. This government, number one, Andrew, right? Don't better believe that you're talking about renewable energy and you are going to ask these same people, JPS, the owners of JPS, right, to run the renewable energy program. No. No, that's a wrong bomb, Mr. Andrew Wallace. We want our Jamaican people by birth. We want to diversify renewable energy, make our Jamaican people manage it. What we want, JPS, those people who own JPS, we want them to leave. They have oppressed us too long, and we want them to leave. We are not going to give them no stake in our renewable energy for them, you understand, to offer us renewable energy. And that's where we are going there. Me they tell us which part the electorate is going. The electorate want Jamaicans, you understand, to be the significant owner, right, of renewable energy. And that is where we are going. Let me read Latland again. I will come back later. They pass bills to keep poorly performing DPP, but as proposed, no bills to control JPS. Strange, definitely Latland. But Latland, stay with me. We are going into this. So let us identify who are the owners of JPS. And let us identify that the money that JPS, right, generating from our Jamaican people is not serving the interests of Jamaican people, but serving the interests of their economy. Their economy, benefiting their economy. And I wonder why. Our government allowed that. I wonder why our government allowed that. So I put good on the juggling people. Without any delay, let us bring up JPS. So let us show the people what is going on with JPS. Yes, man, we'll come out for them tonight. Let us educate our people. Now, my viewers, let us just increase this document. Because tonight we have the time for them, you know. Right? We are educating our people. We can't fool the people again, you know, when we there, you know. Right? Now let us look. Jamaica Public Service Company, essential upgrading for an electricity distributor. Let's get into it, people. Proparco is supporting the investment plan of Jamaica Public Service Company. Jamaica only electricity distributor. That means they are the one that have the monopoly. One of the program's aims is to upgrade generation infrastructures and the transmission grid. No, we don't want that. People, we don't want that. One of the program aims is to upgrade generation infrastructure and the transmission grid. We want to move away from fossil fuel. So people, remember, break it down for now. We don't want that. We don't need that. Okay. Client presentation. Jamaican Public Service Company, JPS, is owned by Japan's Marubeni and Korea East-West Power Company. The Jamaican government, and so that means, you understand? See who own it here now? Marubeni, Japan Marubeni, Korea, right? East, West Power Company. Now, let us start, people. So then, right, the money that they generated is not circulating in Jamaica, in benefiting Jamaicans. I mean, I want them talk nothing about employment. We don't want them talk nothing about employment. Who cares about that? The Jamaican government and a few private shareholders with a generation capacity of over 620 megawatt. JPS is currently Jamaica's only electricity distributor. This we want to change. People, this must stop. We want to change this. And we are telling the political leaders that the electorate want this to be changed. Now, local loans will contribute to financing the rehabilitation and renewal of JPS generation infrastructure and power transmission and distribution grids. It will also support the implementation of an ambitious plan to reduce power losses, as well as the construction of the renewable energy infrastructure. Now, we don't want JPS in the construction of the renewable energy infrastructure. You see, right here, so people, this is where we have problem now with our politicians. Our politicians need to talk to me, We need Jamaicans, born Jamaicans, to run the renewable energy infrastructure. So any political party not having that aim and policy to make Jamaican born, you understand, run the renewable energy. Why are we going to make JPS do renewable energy in terms of them people who suppress our people from God, he knows when? We don't want them run renewable energy. Diversify the renewable energy to multiple Jamaicans who can be benefited maximally and build our economy. That is what we want. So may I show the people and the evidence. This investment program will contribute to improving the quality of JPS electricity service. We don't want to improve the business. We don't want to maximize the profit. We want to take ourselves away from the grid. The grid is killing us. The grid is stifling our economic lungs to function. Right? There is no country that can produce or manufacture as it relates to high energy cost that this JPS company, you understand, is putting the pressure on us. It will also contribute to diversifying Jamaica energy mix and will have an impact on the climate by reducing greenhouse gas emission by 410,000 tons a year. We don't want to have the business. We are telling the JPS, we don't want JPS to have renewable business, and Jamaicans must have it, and where the money that Jamaican make spend in the country and develop the country's economy. You understand? We have sense. We are no fool. We are not going to be JPS slave. Okay. Take that away. You take that away. Take that document away. Right? Now, people, let me speak this in. And the educated people. What we want to move forward towards renewable energy. But we don't want JPS to move forward in terms of distributing renewable energy to us. No, JPS, you have pressured us for God, he knows when. We want the renewable energy to be diversified through the government policies, the electorate voting for them. Whether you are going to have the diaspora or local Jamaican businessmen born and grow Jamaicans. You understand? They need to have the stakes in the renewable energy, not JPS. And that we are saying, that we are defending, not JPS. Right? Because where that money is spending in Japan economy and Korea economy, building up Japan and Korea economy in terms of what they have done to us, in terms of sucking the blood out of our people, right? With high energy costs that benefit their economy and not our economy. We need to have a government who sets a policy to move away Jamaicans from the grid, move Jamaicans away from fossil fuel, renewable energy we are speaking about. Now, I'm going to show you something, people. Let me talk to my wonderful people before I play this other information, because I don't want the controversy, Come on, we are getting to them, right? JPS, what you had done in terms of, you understand, trying to pad in the bill and suppressing Jamaica, right? After we had gone through, right, the aftermath of Beryl. You don't have no sympathy on us. No sympathy. This goes to show you when we talk about crony capitalism, corporate greed, in spite of the fact that the people are suffering, in spite of the fact that small business owners have lost a lot and their businesses have been destroyed. JPS is doing one more evil, right? To add and increase on their bill. JPS, yes, you have my attention. I am going to deal with you tonight. I am going to open the can of worms. I am going to dig to the bottom and I'm going to expose you tonight. So, unique, Mystic Sensation, I have a question in regards to JPS. Why did the Prime Ministers sold out JPS in the first place? Wasn't this company owned by Jamaica Public Service? Well, yes, that's a very, very, very good question. And let me say this without any hesitation, right? I think that was one of the bad moves, right, that we had done, right? And so when questions like that posed to us, right, we have to answer truthfully, right? Because the viewers want to know, right? And, you know, as we evolve, we are going to have bad government policies. But when we realize that these policies that we had made as a government, right, we need to make amendments, right, correct them and move on. Uriel Dama, the government is in charge. They are the one that give them the authority. Yes, Uriel, right? As I said, we have some wonderful, well-thinking people around here, but we are getting in it tonight and we are going to deal with it in an intelligent way, right? Now, the next document that I'm going to bring up, right, is just that we are going to talk about Philip Palwell, right? And Philip Palwell as an intellect, understand that, you know, we need to move away from fossil fuel because fossil fuel is stifling the Jamaican economy. The high energy cost, and not only in Jamaica, right? It's a global situation as it relates to high energy cost, right? But how do we, you know, introduce renewable energy in this space so that we make more Jamaican accessible to cheaper energy, and in the same breath, simultaneously, that we can have the purchasing power of our middle class increase. And so then, as it relates to the current situation with JPS, right, it is not going to happen because the electricity bills is so high and pressuring our Jamaican people pocketbook. So here we are today. We are telling the government that a change must be done and done urgently, right, as it relates to winning ourselves from fossil to renewable energy. So let me show you in terms of the move that Palwell made, right, during the Portia Simpson era, realizing that, you know, it just cannot help Jamaica interests as it relates to fossil fuel. Right, Uriel Reid said, this is why we need to get back to socialism where the people call the shots, not these sellouts. Oh my God, as I said, that we have well thinkers here as it relates to what Uriel said. Now, as we talk about crony capitalism, we have to take ourselves away from that and we talk about democratic socialism. And that's why people have to understand the reason why Michael Manley, right, raised the backside levy for us to be benefited from the backside levy, right? And so then here we are today that we are struggling, right? And not having the ability, right, to produce because of high energy overheads. So we are here to inform our people, right, and make sure that renewable energy is on the ballot, right? People need to wean themselves from the grid, and the faster is the better. We need to send home back, right? Miranda, we need to send home back Japan interest, external interest, the Japan and the Korean interest. Those interest people are not serving the Jamaican interest. The majority of money that Japan and Korea made as a result of the grid is not serving the Jamaican interest. It is serving Japan economy and serving Korea economy. So me no want Jamaica Labour Party come tell me about JPS employ X amount of people and where go away with that. Go away with that. You understand? We are going to talk some truth tonight. We are going to get into the investigation tonight, right? And we are going to open some kind of realms tonight, right? And that's why I want people, before I open and approach the next document. Now, people, we have seen some situation with Colonel Spencer, and I want to set the record straight before I get into that document, right? Because we know that the court found Colonel Spencer not guilty. So we are not going to be here chastising Colonel Spencer. This is not the situation about Colonel Spencer. This is a situation in terms of moving towards renewable energy. So let me warn that, you understand, before I get into this next document, and for people who want to do their nitpicking. Me don't know nitpicking business. We are talking about moving from fossil, right, to renewable energy. That is what we are talking about. That is what is going to benefit Jamaican economy, right? And we want renewable energy to be diversified, and Jamaicans own that. Not Japan, not Korea. People, wake up. We need to wake up, right? And we need to make it, right? One of the factors in terms of our vote, we have to be serious. What JPS is doing is criminal to us. It's suppressing us. And we are going to prove it tonight. I research and do all the evidence. So without any delay, let us get into the next document. Let us get into the next document. Lights on. Controversial Cuban light bulb. Let us get into that. And as I said, people, right, as it relates to the interest of Philip Powell in wanting to go renewable energy, let us get into this. Lights on. Controversial Cuban bulb program coming back, right? This is what Powell is saying. Because the Cuban light bulb, right, are energy saving bulb that would able to reduce the energy, right? And so that our people could be able, you understand, to be properly budgeted them themselves, right? And not have to deal with the high energy cost. Let us get into this. So there is Philip Powell, right? Wanting to move towards renewable energy. Let us look. Energy Minister Philip Powell has declared that the government will reintroduce the controversial Cuban Jamaican compact fluorescent lamp project, better known as the Cuban light bulb project as a part of national sensitization program on energy conservation, right? In order to reduce the high cost of energy from the Jamaican people, Philip Powell is bringing this forward. Let people understand the information that is coming out here. Indeed, that Cuban light bulb project was a risk. It was a big risk, but I am going to resurrect the project. Now, the reason why Powell said it is a risk, let me make that phrase understandable. Powell know that he's going up against capital cronyism, going up against the corporate greed, and knowing that, right, JPS, as it relates to Japan and Korea, right, wouldn't like that because this move is going to reduce their profit margin. So I want people to follow what we are saying here, you know, right? Indeed, let me quote, open quote, what Powell said as it relates to Powell concern here. Indeed, that Cuban light bulb project was a risk. It was a big risk, but I am going to resurrect that project because Powell know that, of course, corporate greed is going to launch an end. Powell said as he addressed a Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry breakfast forum on Jamaica's energy sector at the Westford Hotel in Montego Bay, St. James yesterday. Open quote, there are still thousands of light bulbs in Cuba destined for Jamaica, he added. Open quote again, close quote here, open quote again, Paul will continue. People are afraid to touch it because they know that they are going up against corporate greed. But as according to Powell, what Powell said, but I am going back for them, and we need to get those bulbs here because Powell know that it is important to get those bulbs here because Jamaican people are suffering on the JPS high cost. We want people to understand why we read. I mean, I break it down for the people. Powell, however, did not provide a timeline for restarting the demand management program. The Cuban light bulb project, launched in 2006, came under scrutiny in 2007 after former Junior Minister Kern Spencer was accused of corruption in the distribution of the bulbs. Spencer and his co-accused were arrested and slapped with corruption charges in connection with the investigation into the project. The case remains before the court. And we know that that case has been dismissed against Kern Spencer. So as I said, I don't want nobody to be coming and nitpicking what they need to nitpick. The overall thing we are talking about, the People's National Party, right, recognize the need, you understand, to leave from fossil and go renewable energy. Me no want no nitpicking around here, so. The government of Jamaica replaces high energy use, right, incandescent lamps, bulbs, in private residence and public buildings with energy saving CFLs donated by the government of Cuba. So even Cuba recognized that no man, we have to help our Jamaican counterparts in reducing their high energy costs because it is killing the Jamaican people. The CFL project forms a part of the Energy Ministry continued thrust towards energy conservation and efficiency as outlined in the National Energy Policy 2009 to 2030. According to the minister, the energy policy promulgated under the previous administration will be implemented to its fullest in a bid to reduce the price of electricity from what you know, people, from 40 cents US cents, from 40 US cents per kilowatt hour to 15 cents per kilowatt hour. We must be serious, open quote, as it relates to Parliament. We must be serious about this because people won't come here to invest if we are not serious about what we are doing. Just imagine, as it relates to high energy cost people, as it relates to what Parliament is saying. and for us to seek outside investors who have an interest in Jamaica to come and invest, right? You're going to have overhead costs like high energy bill. You understand? It's going to defeat their purpose. Hence, we are saying that Jamaica is not going to make any progress in terms of manufacturing because it is too expensive to do any manufacturing. Hence, it's going to hold back the Jamaican economy. So the JPS is stifling the economic lungs of Jamaica. We want to understand what we are reading here now. The minister said, right? Now, let us take away that document for a while and let us get into this. And let me explain this to the people so that the people can pull up in terms of their understanding. So then, as it relates to the People's National Party, right, bless myself, Kenny Marks, Byron, why couldn't they have made JPS public so the Jamaican people could buy shares? Kenny Marks, all right, let me tell you something. I am not going as it relates to making JPS public, right? When it comes to fossil fuel and how JPS is benefiting, and it is not, you understand, being circulated in our economy, you understand, we are not interested in that. But we are going towards renewable energy.
You know what he's saying, at the time when they sold it to Japan, and why didn't they just put it and make the shares public so Jamaican people who could invest by the shares? Keep it within the country.
Okay, sorry to misconstrue you there. Put it up again. Put it up again. Right? So that we can, okay, no, I understand what you're saying, Candy Max. Byron, why couldn't they have made JPS public so the Jamaican people could buy the shares? Yes, right. And of course, diversify that in terms of the multiple owners, and that would benefit us because, Candy Max, right, that money being, whatever make, as it relates to the different shareholders, Jamaican shareholders, as what you're saying, right? The money will be circulating in our economy. Thank you for that, money, right? Sometimes I read fast now, we not really, but thank you for that. The money will be circulating within the economic space of Jamaica. That's what we want. That is what we want, Kenny Marks. As a matter of fact, all the assets that they have sold out. Yes.
If they put all of
right
those out for public bid.
For public bid and to keep the money in the economy space, and so that the money can circulate in the Jamaica economy. So yes, Kenny Marks, you understand? Very good question. We understand what you are saying, where that is concerned. Now let us move on to this. You know what, people? I'm going to show you something. State Tide said Cuba recognized Jamaica only because of Michael Manley, period. JLP government fought against Cuba so much. State Tide, you are so right. And I want people to understand what State Tide is saying, as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party, spread propaganda and Michael Manley, that Michael Manley is going communist and blah, 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 blah. You understand what I say? Just to appease capitalism and their greed. You understand? Several wickedness. See, God done us. I mean, I hesitate to say that several wickedness JLP had done, to pull back the economy, when the People's National Party is just forwarding the economy. You understand? And so then to every 2 steps, the People's National Party make a move to strengthen the economy. You understand? When the people are misinformed and the people voting Jamaica Labour Party, we have what we have today, illicit enrichment. Illicit enrichment. Because the only thing that the Jamaica Labour Party know is to rob and pilfer from our treasury. Tonight, me not hesitating. You understand? As a matter of fact, we're looking forward for December. Looking forward for December. Now, just imagine, people. Let me get and explain and make people understand what happened. Beryl Vaz. Hey, what a thing. That Beryl Vaz and Nigel Clark We're going to show you something, people. Beryl Vaz and Nigel Clark, as if they're rushing out now to defend the Jamaican people. You understand? Because JPS now is overcharging and they're telling JPS now to go back and recalculate. Come on, please. Beryl Vaz, who you think they can fool? Who you think you can fool? You can't fool the Jamaican people. Unique, so Byron, I think one of the main policies need to put in place, right, where taxpayers don't need to be paying no PM and turn around paying their bills, closet, food, and when them leave office, them still get paid. Well, all right, you hear what Uni Career said right then and there. But let us get into that. That, you know, this is what Beryl Vaz coming out to tell the people of Jamaica that we are defending the Jamaican people. You understand? And, you know, as it's because the people catch up on JPS paying their bills. And it is evidently clear. It is long time JPS padding the Jamaican people's bills. Long time they are doing it. And guess what? The Jamaica Labour Party know. The Jamaica Labour Party know. Andrew Holness know. And that is why we are asking how much JPS donated to the Jamaica Labour Party in the 2020 general election. Mystic Sensation is asking that. So when Andrew Holness run out, I'm going to play the clip. We're going to play the clip. So when Andrew Holness run out and talking about energy costs cheaper for people, he wasn't speaking on behalf of the interests of the people. It was a political strategy threatening JPS that JPS need to fund his political campaign because he has the wind in his back and he is moving on the political ladder, you understand, to win the election. So if they don't, let me talk it out, Andrew, if the JPS did not fund you, you understand, then you write policies, you understand, against JPS. And so then me ask Mystic Sensation, I ask, you know, how much JPS fund your election 2020? That need to be discovered. Now, let us get into Andrew Holness now and show you something, people. That's why I bring the history for our Jamaican people to understand as it relates to what the arms go to Beryl Vaz that go on with now, like the GLP is protecting, you understand, the people's interest. The JLP is not protecting people's interest. It's because the people then find out that JPS, you understand, is overcharging them, and it is not now that that JPS is overcharging the people. The JPS has been overcharging the people them for a long time, and who don't know about it. Now let us get into Andrew Holness clip. Play YouTube. Let us get into the business tonight. We're going to deal with some situation tonight.
One of the things that I know affecting whole heap of people in Jamaica is the high electricity bill. When the PMP come into power, them say them going to bring down electricity costs. What has happened since? Electricity costs keep rising. They promise that by 2016, they would have made the JPS more efficient with more efficient plants. That's not going to happen till another 2 years. And before you know it, it will be another 3 or 4 years before them actually do it. The Labour Party will make sure that we put in place more efficient electricity generating plants to bring down the cost of electricity to you. I don't like to make promise. I make commitment. And under the Labour Party government, we are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big power plants. We are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big energy companies that can put the money in here to build the plants to give you cheaper and better electricity.
So people, let Mystic Sensation break down that for you tonight. And this is one of the reasons why we know that that Andrew Holness is a political canartist. When we listen to that, one of the first fundamental wrong in terms of that policy plan that Andrew Holness have to bring more big energy company in Jamaica is a big no-no. Andrew Holness, that's a fundamental wrong. Mystic Sensation is telling you, don't go there, right? Don't go there. Because we want our people to move away from fossil fuel. We want renewable energy. And so then when you bring those big companies there as a country, you although we know that that was a lie. What is your policy plan? To increase the demand on fossil fuel? To increase the demand on fossil fuel when it's supposed to go renewable? So you know that that policy, you understand, is garbage coming out of Andrew Holness' mouth. Garbage coming out of Andrew Holness' mouth. To want to introduce more energy as it relates to fossil fuel, when we are supposed to move away from fossil fuel. We are concerned as it relates to about climate changes. We are concerned that fossil fuel is burning out the ozone layer. We are concerned fossil fuel contribute to global warming. So Andrew Holness is a big wrong. But you know what? You believe that the masses of the Jamaican people, right, are not able to deduce what you're saying, that what you're saying is total nonsense if you make that move. But you weren't really talking to Jamaican people. You weren't talking to Jamaican people. That what you said there was a threat to JPS as it relates to funding your election. To tell JPS that they need to saddle up because the wind is in your back in 2020, right? And so then JPS need to jump on and fund your campaign. Because if they don't fund your campaign, you're threatening them that you're going to have big energy company come into the country, you understand, and compete with them. Let me just break through your information. Let me just decode your message for you, Andrew Holness. So you weren't sending, you understand, of an interest, you understand, to make Jamaican pay less for energy. No, that wasn't your interest, Andrew Holness. You understand? We know that you are evil. That wasn't your interest. That what you said was to send a message to JPS that they need to fund you awesomely because if they don't do that, you will, you understand, execute policies, right? But let me say this to you. Andrew Holness, we are coming at you. So not only Andrew Holness, who had failed, right, to come out and to make other promises, because Andrew Holness knew very well that he had failed on the promises. So the post-Beryl situation, the JPS expected that the government would back them up. But because the people realize and caught them redundant, they're on in the cookie jar, putting the people's bill. Daryl Vaz tried to come out and fix it. Daryl Vaz, you are not talking on the people's interest. So let me ask you a question, Daryl Vaz. As it relates to what Andrew Wallace just promised and what we heard, are the Jamaican people paying lesser for JPS bill? No. So then, when Andrew Wallace promised that in 2015, now we see it as a carrot failure. Carrot failure. And so then, Andrew Wallace know that he cannot come out and make another promise because his promise in 2015 he did not fulfill. So what Andrew wants to know, send out the puppet. So let us hear how Andrew wants to send out the puppet and how the puppet now acting as if he is talking on behalf of the Jamaican people. He have the interest to defend Jamaican people and show JPS under the bus. Let us show that clip. We are going to break them down tonight. We are not playing around here. Not playing around here. So go, right, and explain yourself, bossy slave. Play it.
Confirmed that external help is coming for the many people across Jamaica who are still without electricity 3 weeks after the passage of Hurricane Beryl. That's the word from Energy Minister Daryl Vaz. He gave the update on Wednesday, July 17 in a post-cabinet briefing where he noted that he had discussions with the JPS on the matter because outside of those hard-hit southern parishes, there are still many areas that do not have electricity.
External local contractors from the bauxite industry have been sought and assigned to Hanover and St. Elizabeth. Support requested from CARILEC, Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation. I can confirm that Belize and Suriname have agreed to send persons, and also Trinidad and Guyana.
The minister also noted that the damage to JPS has been quite extensive. So who will cover the cost? The minister said there is a special electricity disaster fund which the JPS has access to, and that currently has about $50 million.
The time has come for external assistance so that whatever is outstanding can be done in the shortest possible time.
Drinking warm water before bed balances blood sugar levels.
Take that away. What you're clicking tonight, right? On point. Now, people, let me talk to you. And let me just break and damage the first lie. Before we get into this, I played Daryl Vaz's lie to expose you, to show Jamaican people that you have no interest in defending the poor people who are suffering from high energy costs and the wickedness that JPS had done as it relates to post-Beryl, and where JPS is put on the pressure on people after the middle class being suffering, small business people in the affected area being suffering, and JPS did not care. JPS put on the pressure. So let us let us expose you on the first line. So let me ask you a question, Daryl Vaz. Where are the external help from Belize, Suriname, and Guyana? Where are they? Daryl Vaz. Today is what? What day is today?
Today is Friday, August 23rd.
Today is Friday, August 23rd. Right? And you have said that, right, roughly about a month ago. Let me ask you, Daryl Vaz, as it relates to the care and the lie you told the Jamaican people as it relates to JP's readiness. the big old dirty lie you told. Me to ask you, where are the Belize, the Suriname, and the Guyanese external help? Where are they? Where are they, Darwin? You know, realize the mystic sensation is on your track. Where are they, Darwin? Can you come out and tell us the status as it relates to the external help from Belize, Suriname, and Guyana? You understand? That needs to make our people up and ready as it relates to their energy. Many small business being damaged as it relates to the government response to the hurricane situation. Poor response. Extremely poor and chaos response. Even now, as we speak, people are suffering in terms of not having energy. Uniquery. But Sir Byron, the JP saying PNP wanted communists, but who know now turning Jamaica in a communist, want to be president, taking away freedom of speech, dictatorship? Of course, you're right, my dear. You're right. That is exactly what they are doing because they are canatists. They are deflectors, misinformation, disinformation, just like what we prove now. I am asking Beryl Vaz, what is the status on the Belize, the Suriname, and the Guyanese, who you recognize that we need external help now because the situation is above the JPS, right? Where the JPS previously reported pre-Beryl that they were up and ready to deal with the aftermath of Beryl. We know that it is a callous failure. Now, let us get into this. I am not playing tonight, very serious tonight. Now, let us get into the next clip. Gist News.
Okay.
Let us get into the next clip and see where Beryl Vaz, the big hypocrite, claiming that he's defending Jamaican people, you understand, and Bill Padding. People look at
JPS has stated that two factors have accounted for the increased bills being received by their customers: fuel cost and exchange rate. The average increase in the fuel rate on electricity bills between April 24 and July 24 was $1.28 per kilowatt hour. The increase in the fuel rate on electricity bills for August 24 is $7.83 per kilowatt hour. The fuel rate will increase by 32% between July and August, up from an average increase of 4% between April and July. Again, bearing in mind that JPS did not have access to LNG for 5 days of the current billing cycle. LNG was made available from July 6, as I said before, at 9 p.m. For this reason, I reject the assertion given by JPS that the cost of ADO fuel is the reason for the increased bills being sent to Jamaicans. And I urge them to recalculate.
Take him away. Take him away, people. Take him away. This is the level of the wickedness of the Jamaican Labour Party. Right? This is the level of the wickedness. The Jamaican Labour Party and JPS have dialogue, and they have an awareness. But what? The Jamaican people caught up. Them with the hand in the cookie jar, padding the bills. And so then, the Jamaican Labour Party doesn't want to look bad to know that, no, this is a horrible situation. To know that people are suffering. and JPS did not sympathize as it relates to what the people been experiencing. No. But what the GLP had done is to increase the pressure on the black people. Yes. Increase the pressure on the Jamaican people. Right? This is what we call economic blood sports. Yes. Let me say it as it is. An economic blood sports. So that JPS can maximize their profit amid the dilemma of what the people are facing and experiencing. No sympathy about. No sympathy about. And the Jamaican Labour Party is acting as if they weren't aware. Right? Careless. And show a government that have no hinge of care. Freedom. Did anyone ask Andrew how he was going to achieve his lying promises? Anytime Andrew and his cronies speak, please speak. Ask them the 5 W's and 1 H of journalism. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. I love freedom so much. Freedom, bless up yourself. Now, and those are investigative, probatory questions. Now, let us get into the next. So we are not going to make you pass, Beryl, with your trickery. We know that Andrew Holness cannot show his face because he failed us in 2015 as it relates to his promise. So we know that. We are not looking for Andrew Holness' face. So Andrew Holness definitely utilizing your face. But guess what? At the end of the day, right, we caught JPS red-handed, right, in bill padding.
That's what Florence is saying.
Florence, my light bill jumped from 13,000 to 20,000 and big jump to 34,000, and I don't have no extra appliances and I am not home during the day. Florence Brown, that is what you call bill padding. JPS has been doing this for umpteen years, and I have the evidence to prove it, Florence. So stay tuned, Florence, and tune in. We are going to prove it tonight. Now let us get to the next clip. So Delvaz, we are not going to make you make a pass on this and believe that you're smart. You're political smart. We are here, and we are going to hold you accountable and your government accountable for the wickedness that you have been orchestrating. Let us get into it.
Okay.
All right. People, stay tuned because we are providing you the information, making you cognizant of what is happening. All right.
Chief Financial Officer Vernon Douglas of the JPS did not advise the Board of Directors or the government of Jamaica of the increase.
Wallets would have been the press linked to Beryl. Are in a better position to accommodate him.
Mr. Douglas, you did not explicitly advise the Finance Ministry that the increases were coming, nor your customers. You did not. So I take it, did you advise the members of your board that this was coming?
This particular, the members of my board, I did not have a communication with the members of my board. There's not. I was not at. Our next board meeting will be in later on this month.
So you did not advise the board.
This was a well-kept secret, Mr. Douglas.
No, no, Mr. Hughes. This is not a well-kept secret.
But just for the record, you did not advise the board of JPS that, listen, this was coming down the pipe?
We have structured means of advising our board.
Yes.
They occur in terms of structured reports. I'll leave no further comment on this matter.
But given the fact that you're a monopoly, it's a particular industry, the country is so heavily reliant on it, you're the single player, how could you not, advise your board of such a hit that was coming for your customers? You don't have to have a board meeting to do that.
The hit that is coming, so to speak, as you have framed it, is not something that is observable at the outset, because there are a lot of moving parts in terms of what the effective demand is going to be. You don't know that until after the end. You don't know exactly what the bills are going to be from your power producers. So it's not something, in essence, that is predictable in absolute terms.
Do you retain the confidence of the board?
I will not comment on that. This is probably something for the board to comment on.
But you know that members of your board are very, very unhappy that they heard about this, like the rest of us, on the news, in social media.
I am not personally aware, thank you.
You're not aware that they're unhappy? You've not been advised? You've not been asked to explain how this could have happened without your board being advised?
What I can say is that what I do know our CEO and former and chairman, who would have been the acting CEO at the time, would have kept in constant dialogue with our board on matters surrounding the business. I do not explicitly if this particular matter was discussed with the board. I do not maintain that direct dialogue with the board.
Thank you very much, Vernon Douglas. He's the Chief Financial Officer at the Jamaica Public Service Company.
All right, Cliff Hughes. All right, Brother Cliff. Seen you trying to bat so hard for the government to have him on the record to say that he did not advise the board. So then the government was oblivious of the situation. And so then we are seeing where the government is now showing the JPS right underneath the bus, right, to say, don't mix up the government. No, Cliff Hughes, let me tell you something, Cliff Hughes. With all the spinning that you want to spin, right, at the end of the day, the government has to stand responsibility for this, right? It is the GLP is the incumbent government, right? And under the incumbent government, right, we have seen where JPS padding the bills, and JPS expect the government, right, to back them on it. How much? Let me ask the question. Did JPS fund Andrew Holness campaign? How much? How much? And so then JPS believe, right, that they have the authority to manipulate our people because they fund the Jamaican Labour Party big time. Isn't that what is happening? You don't want to talk to the people. That is what is happening. Right? Now, let us go to the next clip. We want to show the people what is going on as it relates to what JPS had been doing for years. You're going to say that the government was not aware. Let me ask you a question. I want to be fair, right? Because people might believe that I am, mystic. you tend to be dragging this a bit, and it seems like, you are, just trying to have this expand in areas where it is not necessary. Now, let me ask. Jamaicans are complaining of bill hiking in their bills, right? And have substantial evidence of those activities happening to them, right? The government is aware of many of these complaints that people have been complaining about. What did the government do about it? The government has done nothing about it to protect these people as it relates to JPS, right? Continuing down the line and padding these people bills. So then you are not going to escape the judgment. You are not going to escape the judgment as it relates to Mystic Sensation. No, not going to escape the judgment. You're fully aware as a government that JPS is padding people's Jamaicans bill, right? That Jamaicans are paying for what they don't even utilize. You're fully aware. The government fully aware. Let us get into the next document, Tony. Okay. And prove to people the evidence.
Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark was swift to respond to what was said by Ms. Callum on Nationwide at 5 on Monday. He rejected as inaccurate the claim from her that his ministry was informed beforehand that customers would see higher light bills for the July to August billing cycle in a lengthy thread on X on Monday evening. Minister Clark provided documents to back up his claim, and then this is what he said.
It has been brought to my attention that the communications director of the JPS misled the Jamaican people on Nationwide Radio a short while ago by providing a distorted and incomplete picture of communications in July between the JPS and the Ministry of Finance. This is most unfortunate. I can only imagine that it is either an unintentional error or a deliberate attempt to divert attention away from the inability of the JPS to restore normality to the Jamaican consumer. Whatever the motivation, in light of this misinformation and in the interest of transparency on this issue of understandable concern to Jamaicans, I've decided to release the communication between JPS and the Ministry of Finance on this matter. The liquefied natural gas, LNG, floating storage and regasification unit that supplies LNG to South Jamaica Power's Old Harbour Power Station had to be relocated for safety reasons ahead of Hurricane Beryl's arrival. This meant that this dual fuel power station that relied on LNG as the primary fuel source would have to temporarily resort to the alternative of automotive diesel oil, ADO, which is more expensive. The JPS wrote to me to advise of this and to specifically request, and I quote, a waiver of the SET on ADO for electricity generation or an application of the concessionary rate of $4.56 per litre, down from $44.90 per litre, for the month of July, sufficient for the restoration of normalcy. The Ministry of Finance responded and communicated the application of the concessionary rate of $4.56 per litre, down by nearly 90% from the $44.90 per litre communicated in JPS's letter to me. And this was applicable for the month of July as specifically requested by JPS. Consistent with the advocacy and posture of the Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, the Honorable Beryl on this matter, I urge the JPS to focus on the technical matters under their control and urgently restore normalcy to the Jamaican consumer. The government of Jamaica will not give distortionary or diversionary tactics the space to prevail.
Take that away. People, this is the reason why I played that evidence. Because Mystic Sensation bowled to him a bouncer. And he swiped and got caught at mid-off. So then Nigel Clark, evidence that established here tonight that the JPS board have dialogue with you. And you were cognizant of the race to come. You were cognizant. You don't know about to spin it. So when Darren Vaza jump out and have tried to spin it, you're spinning it now because of the Jamaican people caught JPS in the cookie jar. Padding the bills. But yet, now you are throwing JPS under the bus to say that the information was misconstrued. Nigel Clark, come on, Nigel Clark. Your government, your leadership, Nigel Clark, do you expect us, Jamaican, to believe in you when you have done the same pattern of behavior in SSL? Weren't you the one who said that the FBI will be investigating? And now we know that the FBI wasn't investigating. So why now should we believe that the JPS board of directors misconstrued the communication between the Ministry of Finance and JPS? Come on. And so when Darren was coming out to spin what he can spin, and when Cliff Hughes coming out to spin what he can spin, it only exposed the government being cruel and callous to the Jamaican people. So let me warn my Jamaican people that coming this general election, you know what to do when it comes to these unconscionable maculas sucking the blood of the poor and keep on beating them down, right? To suffer Jamaica from economic prosperity. But I tell you this, we are here to defend and fight for our Jamaican people with every strength that we have. Now, my Jamaican people, let me give you evidence, clear evidence, that the JPS has been doing this as it relates to padding bills. Right? As Freedom said, yes, evil has no loyalty. And so then let me say this to you, that I am going to give you an evidence that is so concrete to show Jamaica locally and in the diaspora that JPS has been padding the bill for more than 13 years. The next clip will tell you that JPS evidently, strong evidence, has been padding, bill padding the Jamaican people for over 13 years. Let us play the next clip for evidence. Let us bring up this.
I'll show you a simple example why JPS are the biggest in the world. Before me change my name and change over the utilities bill for the house here in my name. The utilities bill like the light bill also used to still in the previous owner name. Them time they may get some light bill for all $15,000, $12,000. But lad, you see, as me change the light bill name and put Adija Palmer. Tell me if you can see that. Tell me when you see it. You see it? Adija Palmer. I fly out 1 February, I think February of this year, I fly out. When I come back, remember, you know, the bill the day, $15,000, $12,000. Since I put my name on it, in February, I fly out. When I come back, I see a bill for $71,000. See it there? And my woman pay the bill. So when she pay the bill, I come back and see my cousin and go and do things. And I say, them JPS people here take off for fool. Just because them say Adija Palmer name on it, the bill reached from $15,000 to $71,000. Anyway, she paid the bill, and them I say, oh, some papi show. So you see the next bill them sent for the 15th of March, it come up to $63,000. So me decide say, well, me not pay the bill here. So me say, alright, me not pay the bill there. Anyway, them send back a bill now, say the bill here due the 18th of April. See how much the bill come up to here? 124,000. So, because me don't want them pull an elephant man for me, and me say, alright, I know these people say them pull an elephant man for me and try put it in the Star, put it in the Gleaner. The usual propaganda would them pull off and get to you. Me say, alright, you know, if I take like a shame out of my eye, me I go pay half of the money, which is $62,000, and then me I go send money go up to the Jamaica Civil Service, which is the JPS, and query why my bill is so high and why the bill gets so high since I put my name on the light bill. Anyway, I pay it. So I pay $62,000. That time in April. Alright, watch you know. After money go up there and query everything, them say, alright, come like cartel pick up where I go on. So, guess how much the bill come to for the following month, which is the 17th of May. Remember me pays half of the 100,000, so them balance brought forward 60,000. After we make the complaint up at JPS, you know how much the bill come to for the next month? Them drop it to 32,000. See it there? Now Jamaica people, more want to tell me, if you don't know say JPS, take poor people and take ghetto people, and take ghetto youth, who have a talent and make a little money and can better them life for them family. You know, say them take with a fool.
So then, is that a lie, JPS? Well, the evidence, right? Clear evidence, documentation evidence. Now, when Vybz Cartel did that, we know that Vybz Cartel spent 12 years and something in prison, and that has been done before Vybz Cartel went to prison. So then we are saying more than 13 years, JPS has been planning the Jamaican bills.
Long before that.
And long before that, we have judgment tonight. People, we have judgment tonight. And that's why we are saying to the government that we don't want no policy position that the government is going to take, that when we are going renewable energy, JPS is going to be the distributor for renewable energy. Let me warn it. Renewable energy must be owned by Jamaicans and Jamaicans only Jamaicans by birth. So who want to say that, yes, that is discriminating, Mystic? That is discriminating. I don't care. We need to grow our economy and our people need to benefit, and we need to dismiss fossil fuel. And so that when it comes to renewable energy, Jamaicans are to be the stakeholders and shareholders for renewable energy in Jamaica, not JPS. Jamaican people, I want you to understand what I am saying here. It is critically important for economic viability to move forward in this country. We have to own renewable energy. Now let me take the call. Yes, caller, you're on the line. Go ahead, Mystic Sensation Live.
Yeah, man. Good evening, man.
Good evening, my friend.
I've been listening to the program, and this JPS issue really teaches citizenry a lot of things, including the fact that the government feel as though they are losing their grip. Because, as you quite rightly say and listen to the program, I mean, the finance minister get caught, you know.
Caught
because
again.
He was willing to read. He said, and I listen, in the interest of transparency on this occasion, I'm sure him use that word, on this occasion, is going to read the correspondence between the JPS and the government. And I keep wondering, what is the difference with this situation and the issue with SSN and the transparency?
Exactly, sir.
You know, so it tells that they're losing grip, and because even what Beryl, as you quite rightly say, you know, Beryl, the government is throwing JPS under the bus because they're looking at the mileage. You notice how the Prime Minister would normally be striding on these situations. You notice I'm silent.
Exactly.
Anytime any negative thing come up, you're not going to see the Prime Minister. They only come up when you have a cut ribbon for a few guard rooms where you might give poor people. And so people have to look at these things in context, you know, my dear sir.
You're perfectly right, sir.
I couldn't help but voice in my views after having listened to the background of the information that you had, and realize that the government really mean the country any good.
Definitely.
The reason they're talking now is because they're under political pressure, and they might give the impression to the people, and because our people so gullible already, that they might say, yeah, boy, the government really, the government now help with them themselves.
There you go.
Because they know we're gullible. They might try to do for after honest make that statement about when we get, and you're quite right. They say we're supposed to be moving away from fossil fuel and deal with clean energy.
Exactly.
Right? Look how much sun we have, 365 days a year.
There you go, sir.
Nobody's talking about solar energy.
There you go. I'm glad.
You know about again, Sir Mystic. When the people start to move away from solar, what's going to happen is that the people who are still on the grid, would they expect it to go up, you know, because they are going to far less customers.
Yes.
So we're paying more. Less customers.
And those people will be paid more.
More for each bill.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's a sad situation with the people, and the government, the government making exacerbate the situation worse.
Thank you.
And when you're talking, I'm a card, see comparison with SSL. And you have to put them foot to the fire, man. Because you can
Thank
see
you.
the clear hypocrisy when the finance minister talk about transparency. They not want to the drugs and all them things. They want to SSL and the FBI. If no want transparency for that.
There you go.
So I just call to really share my views on this particular issue, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for calling in. Wonderful input.
Yes,
thank you. You know, and this is what we are saying, that we are talking to our people.
But now you have me searching for our light bill. It not come yet. I love to see, because not even my bulb we don't have on for more than a year now. So I'm very curious to see it.
But we are talking to our people because we want our people. Let me tell you something. We love our people. Yes, we love our people, and where we want to go, right? We want to dismiss, right? Those people who are manipulating us, right? As it relates to the owners of JPS, who have no interest in our economy, right? But to suppress us, right? We have to. And that's why we as a people, we are saying, as it relates to the electorate, that Jamaicans need to be the owner of renewable energy, so that every single dollar generated is within the benefit of the economy, circulating within the economy and benefiting and strengthening the middle class of our society. And in extension, everyone as an whole.